You're listening to Lore Friendly with Kris Takahashi and Alice Bell. How you doing, Alice?
I don't know anymore. I've just emerged from the dark recesses of exam season, and now I feel like a new woman.
Are they really dark?
Oh yeah, so dark. As in, like, I had a minor breakdown in the library because I didn't have enough printer credit.
Libraries are scary places in general.
Especially ours, it looks like a car park that's about to fall down.
And then on top of that, you don't have any printer credit. I mean, it sounds like an episode from Tales from the Crypt.
I know, especially like an hour before the deadline, where you need to hand shit in, and it's like, I don't have any money, I'm poor.
Yeah, and that's like a real horror story. Like ghosts, psst, please.
Fuck that shit. That is not a real world problem, man. This is the real horror, right here, right now.
Immersive horror.
But yeah, so after exams, I kind of like passed out for a week, and then...
Yeah, we were off for like a month and a half, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, like I haven't even got your answer as to whether you hear Yanni or Laurel yet. That's how long it's been.
Yanni.
Oh, so you're one of those people.
I hear Yanni.
You're a Yanni person.
Tell me what you heard.
I've actually heard both.
Okay.
Like, I heard Laurel first, but then one time I was just sitting there minding my own business, and they were talking about it on TV, and I heard Yanni. I was like, what the fuck?
It's to do with the different, like, speakers that you use and stuff, so I first heard it on my headphones, and because I've got quite young ears anyway, I can pick up on the higher frequencies that you need for Yanni. Whereas for Laurel, if you're listening to it on a low-quality device, or if you have slightly damaged hearing, then you're gonna hear Laurel kind of thing.
That would be me. I would think I would fall into the damaged category.
It'll just be from the different sources which you've heard it.
Yeah, but I've actually heard it differently from the same source. Like, I've listened to a track, heard Yanni, and then tried to listen to the Laurel, and suddenly it switched to Laurel. It was like the weirdest thing.
Oh! It's like those, what do you call it? Those magic pictures. But, like, when you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's like, no, I want to go back to the random distortion of dots.
Yeah, I could never figure those out. It's really weird. It just looks like a Jackson Pollock to me. It's just, maybe that's why he's so popular as an artist. Like, people can actually see pictures in there. But, yeah. Anyways, we're getting off track. So, what else happened?
I don't know. What have I missed? I feel like I've missed so much. The Handmaid's Tale has started, and I've not started watching that.
I'm not even sure we're allowed to talk, given that your country burned down the White House in 1812.
Have you only just heard about this?
Yeah, but it's relevant now. These bitter wounds have still not healed.
What? I haven't heard. I knew that, like, we burnt down the White House, because obvs. But
it's in the news because Trump is saying that it's a security threat.
Oh my god!
And he's trying to justify applying tariffs because
of this thing that happened 206 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's putting the tariffs on Canada. It's not even on the right country. He's accusing Canada of burning down the White House in 1812.
What? Oh my god! Oh, Kris, he hurts my head so much. When did this happen?
I think it happened today. Like, I saw the War of 1812 was trending on Twitter, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my god. The world never fails to amaze me.
Yeah. It would be funny if it weren't so sad. But yeah, E3 is coming up too, isn't it?
Is it this week? Or is it next week?
I have no idea. The weeks kind of just blend together for me.
Yeah. I don't know where we are anymore. I feel like I'm in a void.
And you just emerged from the dark recesses of the school library, so...
Yeah. And I'm so much more connected with, like, nature now. Like, when I was trying to record earlier, there were a load of birds fighting outside my window. And, you know, I'm just really getting this connection, you know, away from, like, the bindings of technology by just watching a crow fight two magpies outside of my window. I think one of them died.
See, if you filmed it, then we'd have something. You gotta film that shit.
It's going viral. Oh god, that was the worst. That was the worst thing I found out today. So, have you heard about Dead Duck Day?
No.
Okay, so basically it is a landmark day in the field of studying ducks. So basically, this duck flew into the glass building at a museum in, I think, either Sweden or Norway. I can't remember where. And then this other dude duck came up and started necrophiliaing the duck, and this was the first recorded instance of a homosexual act between two ducks. And it's the basic premise is that dude ducks get so horny that they'll just fuck whatever, including corpses. But
yeah, ducks are.
But the worst thing
ducks
is,
are kind of creepy.
I learned way too much about, like, when I was watching this video today, and I learned way too much about duck sexual habits.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lady duck, her vagina is a maze. I mean, to a lot of guys, a woman's vagina is a maze anyway, but...
Unsolvable riddle.
But it's literally got like all this. It's literally like going into an Egyptian tomb. It's all twisty and turny, and there's dead ends and shit. So like the male duck's penis has evolved.
It's like a
to
corkscrew or something.
Yeah, it's like a corkscrew, but then it's also like 20 centimeters long in some cases.
Yikes.
And, like, the female duck, like, if she's getting attacked by a male duck who she doesn't want to have sex with and she doesn't want to have their babies, she can redirect her vagina.
Oh, wow.
I didn't need to know this.
It's
And now
kind of interesting.
everybody has to know too. And it just makes me so upset because I went on a lovely romantic walk at the weekend with my boyfriend and we were feeding the ducks. And we were like, oh, he's trying to flirt with that duck, but now I know that that duck probably raped her and has a corkscrew penis.
Yeah, ducks are like violent and a little rapey. So.
It's more than a little rapey.
Yeah.
They evolved their penises so that they could more effectively rape lady ducks.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like cats too. Don't they have like barbed penises?
I mean, there was a whole line about it in one of the many... What was it in? There's like a book in Skyrim.
Yeah, it's
where it talks about the barbed penises.
Biography of Baron Zaya.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, cats have barbed penises.
Yeah.
And
it's all rapey.
it just...
No one.
You know what
that.
I'm going to do? When I finally get my pet duck, I am going to raise it to be a complete gentleman. No raping. No spurting out its corkscrew.
Yeah.
It's gonna whine and dine any lady ducks that it sees.
Yeah, it's a nurture over nature thing for sure.
Yeah. I will raise him to be the finest gentleman duck you will ever see.
Or you could just get a lady duck.
Yeah, but boy
Scrooge
ducks
McDuck.
are... But, like, boy ducks
That's
have,
true.
like, green heads.
Get
And
a
they're pretty.
Scottish one and call it Scrooge. Have it voiced by David Tennant.
Scrooge. And instead of O-O-G,
Scrooge
it's
McDuck.
Screw.
Oh god. That's awful.
Yes,
what else
it is.
happened? Oh, Fallout 76. Trailer came out for that.
Yeah, it came out during my... So, doing Anglo-Saxon studies, we're all nerds. So, like, there was just, like, this row of us in this dissertation session, just, like, anxiously refreshing Twitter. And then it came up in the middle of this lecture. And my first thought was, oh god, the graphics, this is going to be online.
It's very
And
cynical.
that's what a lot of the rumours about it are saying. That it's going to be, like, a Rust-style survival thing.
Is it going to be made by ZeniMax then?
No, apparently... Well,
Because they
Obsidian
made
have
ESO,
said...
right?
Yeah. I don't know. They haven't announced whether it's being done by ZeniMax and then just published by Bethesda, but I know that Obsidian said that they have absolutely fuck all to do with it.
Well, that's not surprising at all. I mean, I seriously doubt they'd be involved in any Fallout game.
But New Vegas was the better. It was the better one.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There's never been any indication that they're gonna do another game.
No, there isn't. Apparently they sound, like I had a look at their tweets, people who were like, are you involved in this? And they were like, no, we wish we were. It's like, oh, guys.
They're like that clingy ex.
Who was actually good for you. And they just see you screwing up your life and they're like, oh, baby, no.
We can help.
Just take me back and I'll help you.
We had a good thing,
We
you
could,
and me.
we could have had it all. No, what's that song where it says we could have had it all. We're rolling in the deep.
Yeah, you lost me. But yeah, I think the other rumor was that it was going to be a multiplayer game.
Yeah. Obviously there's no way to tell because they haven't released any information. Although they have released pre-orders. So we don't know what the fuck the game is. But hey, you can order it. Fucking hate pre-order culture, man.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they give you. If they give you a discount, then I'm for that.
I don't think they've released... I didn't look that deeply into it because I was just pissed about it. But it's like you haven't even announced what the game is. We don't know what genre it is. All we know is that it's an IP set in the Fallout universe. What is it?
You definitely need at least an idea of what the game is and how it works.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of have an idea, an expectation of what's to come, and the developer has a track record, then I could see maybe doing a pre-order, provided there's a discount. Like for Fallout 4, I got a 20% discount. I trusted Bethesda's previous track record that it was a game I was going to buy anyway. So in that instance, I was more than happy enough to do a pre-order, but not unless I know what the game is going to be.
Yeah, I just feel like with pre-orders, I don't like it when they throw in different like add-ons from different retailers, so there's no way that you can get the full game. That's what I really hate about it. Discounts, that's good.
Yeah, and most of the time, it's not even a discount. It's just like free outfits or free guns or stuff like that. Just aesthetic things. Or it gets really hairy, and the thing that I dislike is when they put content, like if they have content behind an extra paywall, like extra levels or campaigns and stuff. I think that's the case with Red Dead Redemption 2's Special Edition. There's like extra missions that you can only get if you pay for the $79.99.
It's like
version.
with Batman Arkham City, where the entire Catwoman campaign was locked off unless you bought a copy from a specific retailer or unless the game hadn't been registered to someone else.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's like, bitch, no. You're slicing off the game. It's basically day one DLC. And it's stupid. And I hate it. It's a awful practice.
In fairness, there are some legitimate reasons for day one DLC. It's usually because the game is finalized and put on a hard disk, and then they later on add something during the testing phase, and so that doesn't make it onto the disc, and so it's day one DLC. But I think in this case, it's not that. It's just extra missions that are just in the special edition. I mean, it's not a DLC version. It's just a special edition version, so it's presumably gone through all the testing and all the stuff that the base game has as well.
But it's when they announce it with the pre-orders and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, also beware, there's going to be this, and this content, and it's like, you're not shipping the game yet, mate.
Yeah.
No.
I'll probably still get the special edition if I get a PS4.
Just so we can actually stay up to date on games. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we could finally play Hellblade.
Wait, we could play it on PC though, can't we?
No, I don't think either of our computers meet the specs. But from like the PS4, you can like live stream and I can tune into the live stream.
No, I have a 1080 now.
Do you? When did this happen?
My last graphics card blew up, and so it just
When?
stopped working. It's like in November or something.
Oh,
I have a 1080 Ti now. I'm part of the master race.
Okay.
And speaking of new master races, we should talk about Westworld. Unless there's something else you want to talk about first.
Yeah. Oh, there was one thing that I thought of whilst we were talking, and I don't know what it is anymore. What did we miss? I don't know. It's gone.
Was it the War of 1776?
Yes. 407 years ago. I don't know who said that.
That was actually Abe Lincoln from the Civil War. So you're basically just like Trump. You have all the wars mixed up.
Hey, at least I'm not the president of the United States who was using that to justify
That is
stupid policies against different countries that he's just decided he doesn't like.
Good point. Good point. You don't need to know these things. It's not a part of your job description.
No, it isn't. I have a job now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You do now.
I am a costumed historical interpreter, which means that I get paid to do fancy dress.
Oh, what kind of fancy
I'm
dress?
so excited. Basically, it's like Victorian prisoners and shit. I had to perform.
Is this like a museum or theme park?
Yeah, a museum in Nottingham. I had to perform a monologue as a drunkard prostitute who killed her baby. It was great.
A monologue. That's a big deal. To stand there. And,
Yeah, I had to stand there. I had to use the courtroom that I'd never seen before.
I mean, the spotlight is on you. You're like the only person talking, so
Yeah.
you've got a crowd just like watching your performance and hanging on every
Yeah.
word.
I did some ad-libbing. It was great. It was so much fun. But yeah, I'm employed now. Yay!
Nice. And in a profession that you like. It's not like when I say I get employed by some retail store selling fucking lady shoes or some shit.
Woo!
It's not like one of those kind of jobs. It's a fun
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm so excited.
Is this something that could be a long-term career? Being like a fake drunken prostitute?
I mean, I could always translate it into real drunken
No.
prostitute if I so wish.
Method
But,
acting. No, I mean, like, is it something that is a short-term job
Yeah.
or is a long-term career? Can you do this job forever?
I can do this up to
Oh.
and through my PhD, which is like 5 years. So it's like a stepping stone job kind of thing.
Nice.
But
Well, I'm
well
happy for you.
excited. I'm well excited.
Did you have to reference any of your previous mod work?
I did mention it actually.
Oh,
It's like otherwise, if I don't mention the voice acting, then there's like a 5-year gap in my acting resume.
so it's like I have done this particular role.
Yeah, it was more like
Just voice acted.
I have still been acting for 5 years. It's just that I do it in front of a microphone where I can do multiple takes and swear a lot.
Sounds very professional.
It's alright. I got the job, so I'm all good.
Nice. But should we talk about Westworld? Or?
Yes, there's a lot to cover, and I think there's no point in giving like a rundown of all the episodes, so maybe
Yeah.
discussing the highlights, like the highlights and lowlight scenes.
Yeah, I mean, we could just run through each character,
Yeah.
I was thinking. Because there's so many different plot lines or threads. And so instead of focusing on
And there's
the-
multiple timelines as well going on at the same time, which very much confused me in the latest episode.
But yeah, should we talk about Maeve again? We could just start at the top.
Maeve is still my favourite character,
Mine too.
but we know that she has this power to control other hosts through her voice.
Yeah, it's interesting because she's gone through this whole like character growth journey, but she's also sort of turned into Neo in the process.
Yeah, but I am very confused as to how that translates to her controlling them with her mind.
It's wireless. Wireless technology.
I don't know if robots work that way.
Well, they respond to voice commands, right?
But
so
it's not a voice command. It's
a wireless signal is what I got out of it.
I don't know. It seems very strange.
Yeah, it did seem a little over the top. That was my one problem, is that she was too OP.
Yeah.
But if we ignore her powers and stuff, she was great from a character building standpoint. Just, she's my favorite character because she's not as tribal as the others.
Yeah.
It's not like she's willing to make alliances with humans. She's willing to, make deals with them. She treats people as people. She doesn't judge them based on whether they're machines or flesh. And we contrast that with Dolores, who it's either you're with us or against us. You're either an android or you're scum, and there's no sort of wiggle room because of what they did to her, more or less. She's kind of scarred from that, so there's never going to be a trust that Dolores can have with the humans.
Yeah.
Whereas Maeve is willing to kind of take a broader view of people and judge them individually.
Yeah.
And we see that with her relationship with Sizemore, which is kind of complicated, but there's still,
There's a mutual respect that develops over the course of these last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
The absolute highlight of her storyline for me has to be the episode that takes place in Samurai World. Is that what they call it?
Shogun World.
Shogun World. And my absolute favourite part of that was the recreation of the legendary shootout scene.
Yeah.
With their Shogun World counterparts. And they all looked very confused over at Sizemore, and he was like, we've got to cut corners somewhere, mate. But it was so beautifully done. They changed it, they just tweaked it slightly to suit the new setting, and they redid the painted black cover.
And the thing about it is that samurai films and westerns have kind of been linked throughout, the last 50 years or so in just the movie making industry. We had the Seven Samurai, and then the Magnificent Seven, which was basically just a remake with cowboys instead of samurai. So there's kind of been a connection between the two throughout filmmaking history.
Yeah, they're both classed as being very similar genres. I know when we studied film last year, we had a look at a Japanese film and a Western in the same week, based off of King Lear. Both of them were based off of King Lear, I think. So it was Broken Lance and
Rashomon?
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember what it was called.
Because I know that a lot of Kurosawa's stuff is based off Shakespeare, but I'm not sure if that's the exact name of the film. But yeah, westerns and samurai films share a lot of the same themes.
It's got that tinge of nostalgia to it.
Yeah.
And nationalism and things. They're very much a product of the same cultural conditions in different cultures.
So Shogun World, I get. I didn't really get the appeal of the other world. It was called the Raj or whatever.
Yeah. Yay, colonialism!
Yeah. I didn't get that at all.
You know what I like? I like reminders of the British Empire's tendency to suppress multiple minorities across the world. That's what I really want to see on holiday.
They're trying to appeal to those Trump voters, probably. Those knowledgeable War of 1812 scholars. That's what they're trying to appeal to. So yeah. It's probably just an excuse to get a tiger in the show. I think that's pretty much the reason. But I don't know. What kind of world would you want to visit?
Sci-fi world.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Or
you go the other
medieval
way.
England. I want to wear a pretty dress, mate.
I'm thinking a world that has no connection to history or anything any kind of place in the past. You could have a fantasy world like Skyrim or Dragon Age. Why limit it to
I want space hookers.
Human history? You can have sci-fi.
I want the Expanse.
Yeah, science fiction would be out of this world too. Makes no sense that they would limit it to human history.
They clearly have limited imaginations. I mean, that's what that whole scene was about, was we have to copy paste. Soz.
That's true.
But honestly, that entire episode was the highlight of the season so far for me.
To be fair, there's only one writer doing the whole thing. And he's a white guy.
Yeah, you'd think that he'd have sub-writers and stuff. Or, diversity teams and things.
Yeah. But yeah, Maeve is awesome. Any other characters you want to talk about?
So you know what I only just realised?
What?
The actor who plays, is it Charlotte Hale?
Oh yeah, Tessa
The
Thompson.
like boss lady. Yeah. I only just realised that she was in Thor.
Yeah.
And I had to take a step back and I was like, no. I don't like her playing this mean character. I want her to be Valkyrie again. But it shows that she's such a good actor because I didn't notice until her name credit came up in the credits.
Yeah, it's hard to see her as a main character just because she has like a resting, cute
Sweet face. Yeah.
Sweet face, yeah. Her normal face is kind of adorable, so it's kind of hard to see her as harsh and mean and abrasive.
I guess that's what makes her so effective as a character, though.
Yeah.
Is that the sick and twisted things that she does, the callous disregard for human and host life.
Yeah, is masked by her.
It's not something that you'd expect from looking at her.
Exactly.
And I think that really came through in episode 7 when she was torturing Bernard. And it's literally like, we have been shown time and time again, you do not need to torture hosts. You can just put them into, like, whatever the mode's called, and just be like, yeah, so tell me this, tell me that. Torturing them is purely, like, a human thing. It's a power play.
Yeah, and it doesn't even work.
Yeah, as you said to me, torture doesn't work, but it gives them some kind of sick power. It's basically a microcosm of the park. Like, the park is there to enact your wildest fantasies, conscious free kind of thing. And this is just like victimless torture.
Yeah, Hollywood in general is just guilty of this
Yeah.
whole torture works thing. I mean, I think in like there was a show called 24 where they would constantly torture people because that's what he had to do to, like, you know, save the United States from terrorism. Only it actually doesn't work in like real life. I mean, maybe they just do it for the drama, but it just
Gratuitous violence, man. Who doesn't
Yeah.
love gratuitous violence? Yeah.
But yeah, so Bernard's possessed now by Anthony Hopkins.
With a machine gun.
Yeah, with a machine gun. Yeah, that scene made me laugh. It's so ridiculous.
It's so funny because literally just like last week,
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins was on the BBC playing King Lear. And then to see him go from this wonderful dramatic role full of tragedy to just firing a machine gun in it like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was like, what are you doing?
And he's another guy who just aesthetically looks like a sweet old man. So you
Yeah.
just can't imagine him going full Terminator like
Oh
that.
my god, I loved it.
I'm a little confused
Oh,
at what his
oh.
whole deal is. Like, what's he trying to accomplish with all this?
I don't know. I don't think that he was planned to be in it, but then they saw how good a reception Ford's character got. And they were like, well, shit, we should probably get Anthony Hopkins back. It's kind of like how they brought back Khal Drogo for that one scene in season 2.
Did they? I don't even remember.
'Cause they were like, the fans love him. And instead it was just like, the fans love him, so let's bring back Ford. Only this time he's going to be a major plot element. Oh, we finally found out what happened to Elise. Or Elsie. She's been missing for what, 6 episodes?
Yeah.
I'd completely given up hope. I thought that this was just going to be a plot thread that they left hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, she's alive!
Well, we don't know if she's alive. We don't know what's going to happen to her because she wasn't with Bernard when
No.
he washed up the shore, so...
She was alive! But she they didn't leave the plot thread hanging, which I appreciated a lot.
But yeah, what do you think of Bernard's whole journey? Like, he's kind of like an avatar for us, and he doesn't really know what's going on, and...
Yeah. He's so fucking confused. And we're all possessed by Anthony
Yeah, I don't even want to
Hopkins.
talk about the show, but he made me.
Literally audience
It's like,
avatar.
you have to talk about Westworld on this pod.
Yeah. He's just like, do it! Do it! That is not my Anthony Hopkins.
It's a very good impression.
And starts firing a machine gun over your head.
It's a very convincing argument.
I don't think
Machine
that
gun.
scene was meant to be as comical as I found it.
But yeah, what else happened? We learned of Delos' plans, and what the park is.
It's basically The Sims.
Yeah, they want to live forever.
It's when you make yourself as a sim. That's all it is.
You think Zuckerberg's doing that right now? With all that data
Yes.
he's tracking?
Yes.
He is pretty Android-y already.
Yeah.
I mean, just his weird lack of facial expressions would kind of dip into the uncanny
Maybe
valley.
he's already an android. We can't put that past him.
But yeah, I felt like the whole plot was like a Facebook thing where they're collecting data without permission and they're going to use it for nefarious purposes.
And the machine is going to blackmail us into becoming androids, and then we all become Cybermen.
And if you think about the way they did it, it's a little convoluted, don't you think, as a plot device? Like, there had to be a better way to get this data instead of building this stupid theme park.
Yes. So much better.
Like, Facebook in itself already would be a better mode of data collection than this fucking theme park when people are basically at their worst.
Yeah, I think it has a very skewed perspective as to what humanity is.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the critique. Because it thinks that, humans are their darkest selves, and you can only get to know them when you see them at their darkest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you've got to balance that with how people present themselves on social media. And
Right.
how people present themselves in real life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am not the same person as when I play Saints Row.
Yeah, exactly.
Role-playing is a thing. Yeah.
And the thing about Westworld is it encourages you to play those roles. It encourages you to sort of feed that darker side of you, if just to have fun. It's not there to sort of, you're not there to be yourself. So the data you're collecting of these people is
Yeah.
useless, more or less.
I mean, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that they've been taking the DNA from the robots that they have sex with.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, that's fucking terrifying. I would not be down with that.
No. But in all likelihood, we would have both signed the contract and not read the fine print.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, I do that every time I install a Steam game, so there we go.
Yeah, who has time to read that shit? Steam might have the rights to your DNA right now.
They can take it, mate. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not breeding anytime soon.
Yeah, but I guess the point is that they have all this data hidden away in some valley, and everyone is sort of converging on this point, including Dolores, who's basically kind of gone off the deep
Yeah.
end. I mean, she killed Teddy.
What she did to Teddy was horrendous.
Yeah. Wasn't there a Black Mirror episode like that? I'm thinking of something else.
I
But she
can't
basically
remember.
killed him.
Yeah, she killed him and tweaked him after having the
Yeah.
one intimate moment that they've had. Like, presumably in their entire lives as sexy robots.
Yeah, one that was natural, not part of the script, more or less.
Yeah. And it's absolutely heartbreaking that straight after that, she was just like, oh, by the way, Soz, bye. Need you to be a robo, bye. Guy now, bye, dead, yes.
Yeah, she's turned into one of those people who just do whatever it takes to win the war, one of those results-based people
Yeah.
who's, like, morally sketchy.
I think that's maybe like one of the overarching themes, though. Like, Dolores now has a lot of parallels to Charlotte, in that she's willing to do anything and sacrifice anything to get what she needs. In her case, it's deleting the backups of all of the hosts so that they can't be restored and so that they can die like humans. With Charlotte, it's taking the data from the experiments that they've been running so that they can live forever and be resurrected as the hosts. So it is a Black Mirror, basically. And I think it coincides quite nicely thematically.
Yeah, there's a nice parallel there for sure. Who else should we talk about?
William.
Oh, right, Billy. Billy and his daughter, who just
Billy
showed
boy.
up.
His daughter's cute.
Yeah, she's cute.
She shoots a guy and she isn't afraid of anything. And I think the fact that he's actually at risk now, I think that's caused a lot of introspection on his part as to how he's treated the hosts.
Is he at risk though? And we just saw in the last episode he was supposed to die, and then at the last second he gets saved by like fucking dudes in cars shooting down Maeve.
Like, he's got plot protection, but he hasn't got protection within the plot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Basically, he can be hurt, and he does theoretically run the risk of dying.
But not really.
But not really, because the writers are going to keep him on to the very end.
Why doesn't the Delos Corp have choppers or air drones? Or why can't they, like, fight through the air? Because that would be a tactical advantage, you'd think.
Maybe there's, like, a dome over Westworld. Because I suppose, think about it this way. If you had celebrities going to Westworld and committing atrocities, you'd want to give them the illusion of privacy, I think.
That's
so, like,
true.
a dome to keep in any incoming aircrafts and stuff.
Another thing that they should probably invest in is some kind of, like, robot soldier program. If they can make sophisticated androids, they should be able to make mindless ones, too.
Actually, yes.
Like, there's no need to risk human lives.
I guess, mind you, I suppose that's how every sci-fi robot takeover works.
That's true.
So maybe Delos were actually onto something here.
Yeah. Scratch that idea. But yeah, the air support is weird. Maybe it is a dome, like you're saying.
I think there's a dome. I think it's Hunger Games style.
Or like that movie with Jim Carrey. What's it called again?
Truman Show. Truman Show? I need to watch that. I haven't watched that.
Really?
Really? I haven't watched so many things.
William is in it.
Really?
Yeah, he's the main guy. He's the guy in charge.
Oh, shit.
He runs the Truman Show and everything. He's a producer.
God damn. Young Billy or old Billy?
Old Billy.
I was going to say, I didn't think that young Billy had been acting that long.
Yeah. Old Billy is Ed Harris. He's been in like a billion movies, so.
Yeah.
And he has a hat on this one, so you'll appreciate that.
Oh, thank God. His head weirds me out so much. I'm sorry, Ed Harris, but...
Yeah. I'm sure you're a wonderful man with a great personality, but in the end...
You're a fantastic actor, but the head...
The head could use some work.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, there's so many, like, classic films that I haven't seen. I've only just watched Wayne's World for the first time this week. Wayne's World! I like the fourth wall breaks. I love anything with a good fourth wall break.
Has that movie aged well? Because it's kind of like Bill and Ted's. Have you ever heard of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Yeah, I watched the second one.
Like, they're bringing that back, and I'm like, is that still funny? I don't know. At the time, yeah, but I don't know.
I think, like, they're very much products of their time.
Yeah.
But I still found them really funny. Because I, like, consumed a lot of 90s media, so I got a lot of the references. Okay. Faux 90s kid.
You're an old soul.
I may have been 5 when the 90s were over, but it was my time to shine.
Who else? Who did we miss? Besides Billiam.
I think we've covered maybe Abernathy? Maybe?
Yeah, if you think about it, we were 7 episodes in, and there hasn't been a lot that's gone on, really, since the end of last season.
I feel like it's suffering from HBO-itis, where there's a lot of pointless filler in it.
Yeah.
Like waxing philosophical 3 times an episode and stuff to just bump up the runtime. But the thing is, if you cut out the pointless waxing philosophy and stuff, you'd have like a good 45 minutes of television. But they're bumping each episode up to an hour.
Yeah.
And so it feels bloated.
Yeah, I found myself checking the time, how much time was left, more often than not, and that's usually a bad indicator for how well a show is doing, is if you're waiting for it to be over.
Yeah.
You're sort of checking the time, and you're like, oh, God, how much time is left?
Oh, kill me.
Now, the opposite can be true. Sometimes you check the time because you don't want the show to end and you're kind of worried there's only like 10 minutes left. But in this case, I think it's a little bit too long.
Yeah. Like, please stop. Like, they could easily cut out 15 minutes per episode and it'd be so much tighter. That's the only thing. This season feels like it's padded a lot.
The other thing is, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be anticipating when I'm watching this show. Like, they're all supposed to meet up in the valley and some shit's gonna go on, but the thing is, we already know what ends up happening because Bernard ends up washed ashore and everybody's dead.
And, like, the build-up just isn't as tight as it was last season.
Yeah.
I think this might be an issue with the TV series that have an evolving awareness theme in general. Like, the first season of Westworld was the robots coming to understand their nature as hosts, and this season is them acting upon it.
Yeah.
A very similar thing happened with Once Upon a Time. So the first season of Once Upon a Time, it's basically set in the real world. All these fairy tale characters have been cursed and put into the real world. And throughout the first season, it's really cool because you're like, oh, that's that person and they don't remember this and they don't remember this. But then the second season onwards, they know who they are. So like the whole premise of the show is weakened by it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult in terms of like where do they go next. Like after this season, do Dolores' band of androids invade the real world? I mean, maybe they go undercover. Maybe there's still some suspense in that regard. But it does sort of restrict you when you're limited to the park.
Yeah, they could only build so many mysteries, otherwise it'd just be unrealistic.
Yeah.
There's only so many Easter eggs you can put into a game, you know?
Yeah. We're going to need some side quests. I think that's what next episode's for, right?
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? We saw the preview. I'm quite excited because at the minute the native characters have just been stereotypical American media.
Yeah.
Native savages.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
Which could be fitting based on who wrote them, I guess. Because I could imagine Sizemore just writing stereotypical tropes regarding Native Americans. It's going to be like Lone Ranger and Tonto and shit.
Yeah.
But maybe now that they're awake, they'll have more depth.
I just hope that it's deconstructed now that they're gaining awareness. Please, let them be actual people. Please give them depth. Like you did it with some of the Shogun World characters. Do it with some of these characters, please.
And the other thing is that Shogun World was more to help develop Maeve's character. I think with these Native American tribes, they might have some sort of tie into the greater story. I'm not sure now, but
yeah.
We'll see.
They were accessories to her plot, but they still stood alone and they had their own storyline within that plot. Yeah. If we get the mystic Native American trope one more fucking time.
Yeah.
I am so tired of it now. I'm just having flashbacks to playing Life is Strange and Until Dawn concurrently.
That's a much newer reference than my Lone Ranger one. This is why we have you on, to date me. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Lore Friendly. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back hopefully next week to talk about more Westworld. And of course, more of the War of 1812.
47 years ago.
Wrong war, Alice, again. But we can cover the Civil War too. We'll cover all the wars.
All of them. 1066 now. That was a fine year.
Yeah, it was. But again, that's it. Say goodbye.
Bye.